What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past few days. We do have some big topics to discuss. Firstly, of course, Barcelona are going to be prioritizing the signing of a left winger this summer and have right now Rafael Leao and Diaz as the two main names at the top of their list. They're also, of course, making some strong advancements on the Jonathan Tah deal. Not fully done yet, but on course to be done in the next month or so. And of course, with Tah coming in, there's going to be a bit of a shakeup in the center back position at Barcelona, and apparently the second captain of Barcelona, Ronald Araujo, is considering leaving the club this January. We're going to discuss all the news and updates around that, and of course as well around the fact that Ansu Fati's future at Barcelona is slowly but surely dying, with of course him not being participating in this Spanish Super Cup. All roads now are pointing for him leaving Barcelona by the summer. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past few days. We're first going to be discussing the main priority for Barcelona in the upcoming window, and that is, of course, to reinforce the left wing position. Now, Fernando Polo and Gabriel Sanz of Mundo Deportivo have come out saying that Barcelona want to strengthen the left wing position. Rafael Leao and Diaz are two players that fit the profile and are highly admired by the club's sporting team. Leao remains a possibility as his agent Jorge Mendes maintains a good relationship with Barcelona. Diaz is not satisfied with Liverpool's offer, and he feels he doesn't match his contribution to the team, and it would be tough to sign him now since Liverpool are competing for major trophies, and Barcelona might make a move depending on Diaz's reaction. Again, we talked about the names are getting more and more obvious. It's Leao, Diaz, and Nico Williams. These are the three left wingers that Barcelona are really following, and I think in the end we might end up signing one of the three. I think Leao, of course, is the better option of the three. Maybe Nico Williams coming second and Diaz in third place. Again, Diaz is quite on the older side as well compared to Leao and Nico Williams. Good player nonetheless, but I think Barcelona need a bit more on that left-hand side. I think Diaz is very direct. He's very much an inside forward. I think the good comparison is very similar to Rafinha, kind of that inverted forward, tucking inside those pockets. We need someone that holds the width much stronger, which of course would coincide more with Rafael Leao and Nico Williams. But we'll wait and see on what the club do decide. Again, this would be the big money move for Barcelona, the big money spender in the summer as well. But the main target, who will be pursued by Barcelona, is still yet to be decided. Now, alongside a left winger, another position in the attack in which Barcelona do want to strengthen in the future, I wouldn't say it's really a priority this summer, is the striker position. And we have been linked with a new name over the past few days. I've heard a lot, of course, about Haaland, Gyökeres, Jonathan David, but now a new name is on the table, and that is Durán of Aston Villa. Now, Tony Juan Martí come out saying that Barcelona has met with Aston Villa strikers Durán's camp a couple of weeks ago, and it was an informal meeting to explore mutual interest, and apparently the asking price for Villa is around 60 to 70 million euros. Look, I think Durán's an alright forward. Definitely not at the level to come in and start and be the main man for Barcelona. I think he hasn't shown enough this season for Villa. He had a good 2 or 3 months opening of the season, and since then he's gone very quiet. This is very much a reactionary move by not only Barcelona but some of the fan base as well, who are twerking for Durán. Again, when Lewandowski does end up walking, you need to bring in not only a big man up front but also a big name as well. It has to be someone that strikes fears in the opponents to make other teams worried that Barcelona's going to be a threat. Durán isn't that. The reality is that I think we're at a point where it's just Haaland or bust at this point, and that's why we're gonna wait probably until 2026, and that's why Lewandowski is probably gonna get another year at Barcelona. I think Durán's a good player, but way too early for Barcelona to make a definitive answer to splash 70+ million on him to bring him into the club. I think we need to see much more from him, maybe another year at Villa. He isn't even the starting striker at Aston Villa. You want to splash 70 million? Do me a favor. We'll wait and see. Good player, but I think nowhere near, no, I would say nowhere near, but not near good enough to be leading the line for Barcelona on a consistent basis week in, week out. But discussions were held, so we'll wait and see how things do develop over the next few months. Now, a player in which Barcelona are the closest to signing right now is Jonathan Tah, who was speaking in the media about his future, and he came out saying that nothing has been decided yet, and I'm fully focused on my success with this season with Bayern Leverkusen, and I'll make my decision soon, and when I have done so, I will communicated. Now, the reports in Germany, especially from Bild and Sky Germany, are still saying that Tah and Barcelona have not reached a full agreement yet. It's very, very close. There's, of course, talks and movements, but nothing is fully done yet. So again, it's bye to bye. We'll wait and see how things do turn out. I think this probably will pick up around the beginning and middle of February once the transfer window does close. Because again, we're not going to bring him in January anyways. The club just want to get it done as quickly as possible to prevent any competition near the time of the summer. So probably like April, May, June time, where free agents really get, hot commodity. Barcelona always like to do things early. If you look at all of our previous free agent signings, they've all been done very early, apart from Gundogan, because he was of course competing for a treble the whole entire season. So wait and see what happens with Tah. But again, very close joining Barcelona. No full agreement yet, but it's well on track. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few days. First up is Ansu Fati, a very, very interesting situation. Now, we have to discuss, of course, firstly, in that squad list or in the matchday squad for the Bilbao game semi-final of the Spanish Super Cup, Ansu Fati was completely left out of the squad. And not only that, but 16-year-old reserve team player Toni Fernandez was selected as the forward on the bench ahead of Ansu Fati. You could not get a much bigger statement than that. And following this decision by Hansi Flick, Inigo Martinez from Kope came out saying that Ansu Fati was less surprised by the decision of leaving him out of the matchday squad by Hansi Flick. He had no injury or discomfort. He has the feeling of the club wanting to sell him, but he wants to stay. I think Ansu Fati's ambition might keep him at Barcelona for the rest of the season, but of course past this summer he's cooked. I would get rid of him now. The fact that Flick is not even playing him at this point after glazing him in the summer says either his level has dropped or he's unreliable, one of the two. It's time to cut your losses. He's on 175,000 euros per week. Gotta get rid of him. Even on a loan deal. I hate, strengthening our rivals in Spain, but they're probably the only clubs that would be interested in Ansu. I'm hearing the three clubs right now are Sevilla, Real Betis, and Girona. So Sevilla, of course, his former club, Girona and Catalonia. Betis, a decent side in Spain. So we will wait and see. Again, it really comes down to Ansu himself. He has quite a few years left on his contract. He does have a lot to say. We had, of course, the quotes about from Jorge Mendes a few weeks ago that he wants to succeed at Barcelona. I mean, we're being linked with Rafael, Leao, and Luis Diaz because Ansu Fati is flopping. When Ansu Fati was coming through, we're like, all right, we don't have to buy left winger for another 10-15 years, and now we're here twerking for a big summer left wing signing because Ansu Fati ain't up to scratch. Not even up to scratch as a reserve option or like a squad coverage kind of player. He's not even that level anymore, which does really suck. Which probably means that, by the way, Lamine Yamal will probably get the number 10 next season as well. So we'll wait and see what happens with Ansu Fati's future. But right now, it is far, far, far away from Barcelona. I wouldn't rule out completely a move away in January, but definitely in the summer, I don't think he's surviving. Now, the biggest news over the past few days has been the big bombshell about the future of the second captain, may I add and remind you, of Barcelona, Ronald Araujo. So I'm going to go through all the news and I'll give you guys my thoughts, opinion, and analysis. So initially, before the match against Bilbao, there were some murmurs coming about Araujo's future following the match against Barbaso in the Cup. Mateo Merito came out saying the Juventus have placed Araujo as a top of their list for favorite signings in the centre-back position this January. Araujo has not found an agreement for renewal and his situation is on standby, but Juventus want to convince him by all means. At this moment, there is no contact between Juventus and Barcelona, but the Italian club plans to contact Barcelona after the Super Cup, which means, of course, next Monday. Rochadero Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Arsenal are showing interest in Araujo, whose contract, of course, ends in 2026. The club is waiting to see what Araujo wants to do, and they want to renew his contract. However, if Araujo does not want to extend his contract and also asks to leave, the club will consider his sale. Following all this, Toni Martí did follow up by saying that Barcelona will only listen to offers for Araujo only if he asks them to. The club's intention is to renew the player's contract, and as of today, they're not aware of anything the vendor wants to do or leave, especially in the winter transfer market. Now, following the match against Bilbao, this is where things started to really pick up. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Juventus are insisting on a deal for Araujo, with more contests being planned with Barcelona to speed up talks. The top name on Juventus' list is to strengthen their defense. Araujo is their main target center back, and the Italian club is focusing on all of its effort to push in negotiations forward. Marca came out saying that at Barcelona, they're very clear that if Araujo leaves, it must be for a permanent sale and also for a large sum of money. There's been a lot of talk about a potential loan deal, which of course makes no sense from Barcelona's perspective, especially now that we're back in the 1-1 rule. Marca also said that Barcelona knows that apparently Araujo is very unhappy at Barcelona. ESPN said that the fact that Juventus don't want to pay a big transfer fee will definitely slow down Araujo's departure. João Romero came out saying that sources from Barcelona deny having any agreement with Juventus for Araujo, but it is true that talks are going to be taking place between the two clubs, but nothing is done yet. And then yesterday we got the big news. Fernando Polo and Rosellero dropped a bombshell report in Mundo Deportivo saying that the Uruguayan has admitted to the dressing room that it is true that he is considering leaving the club this January, and if he does leave, he also prioritizes a move to the Premier League. Arsenal, like Juventus, want to sign a defender who suits the style of Mikel Arteta's team, and Barcelona will not accept a loan in the winter market, but will not close the door to a transfer for an unbeatable amount with a year and a half left on his contract, and given the delays in his talks over a renewal. So let's make this very, very clear. Barcelona have never changed their stance on Araujo, where Araujo is changing his stance a lot on Barcelona. The report also says that Araujo feels mentally exhausted after seeing the rise of Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí in defense. The potential signing of Jonathan Tah could also be playing a factor as well. Let's make this very, very clear. This mental exhaustion is not from Pau Cubarsí and Inigo playing well. This mental exhaustion is from his catastrophic mistake against PSG. I firmly believe we're almost what, like 3 months away from it being a year since we got knocked out against PSG after Araujo's mistake. And I don't think Araujo has recovered still to this day. Now, the Arsenal report saying that Barcelona want to count out Araujo, but the Uruguayan isn't responding to a renewal proposal, so that forces Barcelona to listen to offers, and they want around 60 to 70 million euros. Let's stop here and discuss a little bit. So, price-wise, for Araujo, departure, 60-70 million, not too bad. That's probably in the range that I would consider as well. Hope we can push probably more to around 75. Again, Lenny Yoro left for 1 year left on his deal last summer to United for, I think, what was it, 65 million. So Araujo is already better than him, so he has to be somewhere in that price range, if not more. With Araujo, again, he's considering leaving. He hasn't decided to leave. He's not pushing for a move. He is thinking about it. Apparently, he thinks he's not getting any chances at Barcelona. What the fuck? Some players in football are just bang straight up retarded. Motherfucker, you've been injured for 7 months. 7 months we've been waiting for your Uruguayan ass to get back and be fit. It's been 3 games. Oh, I'm not playing. I want to leave. Oh my god. You are the second captain of Football Club Barcelona. And you want to go to the worst Juventus team I have seen in my life. They're in a rebuild. They're probably going to be back at the top very, very soon. Next, 2-3 years. They have a good manager, Thiago Motta, sure. But you've just spent 4 years at Barcelona, beginning sporting project, building up, going through some of the worst times in the club history, and now we're looking finally on the up. And you want to bounce and go restart that whole entire process at Juventus? If you're going to, Arsenal, for example, okay, a Man City, a Bayern Munich, sure, you know what, same level of club size, they're doing pretty well, they're competing, okay. Juventus! Oh my god, I'm more than baffled about his decision, and it's crazy to me. Now, we also have reports coming in from the Juventus sources. Romeo Agusti, who is the #1 source around Juventus, he's come out saying that Araujo has indeed been considering a move from Barcelona. He's thinking about it. This is because he feels he isn't getting enough opportunities. Arsenal and Juventus are the two teams interested, and he just mentioned there are going to be talks between Barcelona and Juventus soon. Listen, I have been very, very clear on Araujo. I think he is an absolutely elite defender, one of the best 1v1 defenders in the world. No doubt about that. I think his recovery pace and his pace as a defender is elite. 1v1 defending is fantastic. On the ball and in possession, he's absolutely woeful. Absolutely disgusting. And he has been disgusting for his whole entire career. There's been a bit of an improvement, honestly, from when Xavi came in. His passing has improved significantly, but it's still not up to par. Inigo Cubarsí, Christensen's passing is beyond clear of Araujo. This is not a player that Barcelona should be bending over backwards to keep. If he wants to stay, he can stay. If he wants to leave, he can leave. This is very much the same situation that Frankie de Jong is in as well. If he wants to jump ship, he hasn't even been fit for a month yet. It hasn't even been a month since he got the medical green light. What was that? I think for the match against Leganes, where he was on the bench. And now he wants to leave because he isn't getting opportunities. Oh my god. What is this pathetic, weak, embarrassing mentality? You are the second captain of this club, and you're about to jump ship because of a little bit of competition in your spot. Inigo is about 39 years old. He's got no time left. The club are willing to sell Christensen to keep you. By the way, if this happens, Christensen is probably going to stay at Barcelona now. And you want to jump ship after a little bit of competition for not even 2 weeks. Oh my god, get this Fugazi, the center back, out of my club. If this is your mentality, the thing is with Araujo, what's pissing me off the most is that this happens every time he has a renewal. Same thing happened in 2021. Man United are interested, they're in talks. Oh, Araujo wants to have big contract, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what this is about. Is this about on the pitch, off the pitch? Because Flick is glazing you in the press conference. Laporta defends you in the media. He even came out, remember, after the Barbasso game, we talked about this in the match analysis for the Barbasso game. He came out saying that I'm the club are negotiating a deal. I hope I want to stay. I'm happy here. I'm a captain. Competition does not fear me. What a grit. 1 week later, he's done a 360 and he wants to bounce to fucking Juventus. I mean, he could crack on. Again, for me, the priority is Barcelona get a fair deal. 65, 70 million. Juventus offers. I don't even know if the Juventus have that money. I'm hearing reports in Italy that they want to do a loan with a buy option for 30 million. Are you having a laugh? Thank God Barcelona are in the 1-1 rule, because if we weren't, we might get bent over backwards here. But now that we're back, 1-1 rule, we can, profit a lot from this sale as well. It needs to be for the right money, and I love the fact the club are remaining firm on that fact. Again, the club standpoint, we want Araujo to stay. We will only let him go if he wants to leave, and if he does leave, we want around 60 to 70 million euros. Araujo now is the ball's in his court. Whatever he decides, he's thinking about leaving. I don't know what. I don't know how Juventus can convince him to restart a whole entire sporting project. I mean, he's grinded through 4 years at Barcelona. The man's been a starter for 3 years. He is probably still a starting center back. When he was coming back from injury, I was saying that it's probably going to be Araujo and Kubarsi starting come end of January. It's been 1 week and he already wants to jump ship. This is probably I've never seen a player bounce like this and like switch his mindset completely. Oh, I have a strong mentality. I come through the depths of Uruguay and all this stuff. I'm flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted. Wait and see what happens. Again, following Messi leaving, no player that leaves Barcelona will ever face me. Probably maybe Lamine Yamal if he leaves like in his prime will upset me or Pedro or Gavi. But Araujo is not that kind of player. I think he's fantastic. I think he's at the level of Barcelona. I would keep him. When I offer him fat wages, no. I can give a little bit of a pay increase for what he earns right now. I think he earns a fairly low salary this time because we promised him last time we'd give him a raise this time. So if we promised that, we give it to him. I have no qualms, no problem with that. But if he wants me to offer him a fat contract, he can absolutely do one. He is... For Barcelona, when you're a center back and you're probably on the ball more than you are off it, and your on the ball game is not that great, I'm not gonna twerk for you, man. Bring this back. Mental exhaustion. You've been back for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of a little competition, and you're already crying? Oh my God. Anyways, we'll wait and see what happens. Again, nothing decided yet. Araujo is thinking about it. He's considering leaving. It doesn't mean he has decided yet. And if he does decide, then the ball's in Barcelona's court. Again, good price. Juventus offer it somehow, some way, even though apparently they're broke, or Arsenal offer it. He can walk, no worries whatsoever. So wait and see what happens in the future of Araujo. But apparently the second captain of Barcelona is considering leaving the club following a little bit of competition after he's been injured for 7 months and been fit for about 2 weeks. Now, a player that left Barcelona in the past, but we now could be profiting more from their sale, is Fransico Trincao. We've been talking about this now for about 2 years, but again, it's in the news. We gotta discuss it. Gazzetta Sport is reporting that AC Milan are working on a deal to sign Fransico Trincao. His price would be around 25 million plus variables, and of course, Barcelona are entitled to half of that transfer fee. So again, keep your eyes on the future of Trincao. Wherever he goes or whatever price he does go for, Barcelona are entitled to 50%. I believe we sold him to Sporting for 10 million. Well, we bought him for 30 with his release clause from Braga. We sold him for 10. We might hopefully get 15 here. So overall, 25 million. You lose 5 million overall total transaction fee, which again isn't too bad. So we'll wait and see what happens with his future. But again, keep an eye on it, as Barcelona do have heavy impact and heavy financial benefit from it as well. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. The first and only update that we do have is on the renewal of Lamine Yamal. Of course, been a lot of reports that Barcelona want to offer him a new deal. Jorge Mendes' agent has come out in the media twice saying that Lamine Yamal will 100% renew his contract. And now Lamine Yamal has done the exact same thing. He's doing an interview with CNN and he was asked on his renewal and he said, yes, I don't know when, but I think it will be very soon. In the end, Barcelona is the club of my life. I hope to renew with them and stay in Barcelona for as long as possible. I want to play in the Spanish league and I want to play for Barcelona. And yes, I will renew. I will renew. I don't take notes. That is all I'll say. So again, no worries about Lamine Yamal's future. It's all really done down to the actual figures of the deal. And again, we do have him on lock anyways until 2030. But after his rise over the past year and a half, the club will of course improve his contract to match what he's doing on and off the pitch for Barcelona as well. Now, the player that is making Araujo shiver in his boots is 34-year-old center back Inigo Martinez. We do have an update on his future following, of course, his great form this season. Gigantes are reporting that Inigo Martinez has the automatic renewal clause in his contract, which activates if he plays at least 45 minutes in 60% of the matches for Barcelona this season, and this would, of course, extend his contract for another year. The club is already considering Inigo Martinez effectively renewed and are very satisfied with his performances. Of course, with his performances, this is why we're not too worried or phased about potentially losing Araujo this winter, or maybe in the summer as well. And I think it's definitely deserved. I think he's been absolutely sensational this season. I can only count maybe 1 or 2 bad games from him for the course of the year so far. We're at the halfway point. Hopefully he puts in another stellar performance this weekend in the Clásico Super Cup final. But again, fully deserved to stay on another year and wait and see what happens in regards to his future following that. But probably will have 1 more year at Barcelona after this, and then probably will have to leave on a free, whether he retires or not remains to be seen. But he's done very well this season. He's been a good free agent signing overall, and hopefully his form does continue. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end up this video is in regard to the CSD court ruling in regards to Dani Olmo and Pau Victor's registration. Some news about that. I also want to first discuss this interview that Ronald Araújo did in the media with, I believe, Raccoon. Of course, she is the VP of Barcelona's economic standpoint. She was discussing, of course, some of the future of Barcelona. First, she was asked on the economic operation and criticism that we received, of course, for the Dani Olmo and Pau Victor case. And she said that Barcelona, from the first moment we arrived and now with the signings, have complied with all the obligations of economic control. I have heard that we have sold at a loss at the last moment. If I remember correctly, the first movements were in mid-October, parallel to the operation with Nike. This agreement is a great success. The cost of this rental from 21 to 80,000 euros is guaranteed. So she's basically saying that we've been working on the Olmo registration, Pau Victor registration from mid-October, coinciding, of course, with the Nike renewal. Then asked on the board's efforts to rebuild Barcelona, saying that Barcelona is a very strong club and this board has done a great job. This team was in a very complex situation and this board has saved it from disappearing. We have returned to the one rule and we are no longer under La Liga's intervention, and now we are financially stable. We have rolled up our sleeve to get Barcelona back on track. Spot on there. Then she was finally asked on the Camp Nou renovation. Of course, she is one of the main ones running the Espai Barca project, and she said that there's no date for the return to the Camp Nou yet, but it will be this season. The club has been very transparent with the progress of the works. Every little unforeseen event has been made the establishment date fluctuate. It is a dream and it will be soon becoming a reality, and at the end of the works is when the penalties of the situation will be analyzed. So keep in mind, Lake Mac will be, of course, the company building the stadium will be dealing with a lot of penalties for being late, because again, Barcelona were very, very firm on them being on course. So again, they're going to be taking up all the penalties that they did, of course, accumulate during the course of the Espai Barca project, and of course, they'll be fining them in total. But again, complete transparency from her. She's spot on as well. Back at the Camp Nou this season for sure. Rebuild is on track. We've been working on Olmo Victor registration. All the news has been nothing but a farce. Absolutely spot on from her. Now, we also have some news, of course, in regards to the court ruling. Of course, if you haven't seen already, Dani Olmo and Pau Victor are officially registered in La Liga. But again, this story is still not over yet. Now, Mundo Deportivo have come out saying that both Dani Olmo and Pau Victor are eligible to play until April the 7th. This is the deadline for the CSD to issue a final decision on the appeal. In 3 months, 30 La Liga matches would have been played by then, and Barcelona could be in the finals of the Copa del Rey if all goes well, as the second leg of the semi-final will be on April the 2nd. And as for the Champions League, by the deadline, Barcelona could be in the quarterfinals, as the round 16 matches are in March. Now, despite unpleasant reactions to the precautionary measure issued by the CSD, teams cannot accuse Barcelona of using ineligible players during this time. Both Dani Olmo and Pau Victor players will be officially registered with La Liga. They will also get temporary licenses approved by the RFEF. Both players will be allowed to play, even if it's only on a temporary basis. Article 248 of the general regulation states that players must be properly registered and have a license within the same set period. So Dani Olmo and Pau Victor will have these licenses while waiting for the final decision. So again, this is only a temporary registration, but with this temporary registration going through, it does, of course, heavily favor the case of Barcelona. But again, we'll wait and see how things do turn out. Now, following, of course, this big win for Barcelona, and has been now officially announced and confirmed by the club that Joan Laporta will be holding a press conference on Tuesday to speak about, of course, the whole entire case from his perspective, what has happened, who's been fighting against him, and Barcelona did anything wrong, preparation, all that sort of stuff. So keep your eyes on this. It's going to be a big day, of course. I'm guaranteed you'll get a lot of questions about the future of Araujo as well, alongside maybe Eric Garcia and Ansu Fati as well. But here we'll get, of course, the whole entire picture, transparency, what has happened, and what will happen, because again, Laporta is one of the most transparent presidents you'll get in the world of football. We all knew he was going to talk, and now that we know that the situation is now over with, he will now speak and face the media and also the Barcelona fans around the world, which of course is great news. So wait and see what happens with that. Again, Pau, Victor, and Olmo are back. They can play on Sunday. They can play now for the foreseeable future. They're on the La Liga website. Everything's all good. But again, the whole entire situation is still not over yet, but now heavily on the favoring side of Barcelona. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past few days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Main thing I want to see, of course, is thoughts on those left winger signings. Who would you go for out of Leao, Diaz, and Nico Williams? Second, your thought on Jonathan Tah. Would you be in favor of the signing or against it? Thirdly, and most importantly, your thoughts on the whole entire Araujo saga. What would you do? Would you let him leave? Are you happy with him leaving? What price would you want to sell him for? Would you keep him by all means necessary? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.